What's up, Dragon Brood? Today we are going with a really different mono red deck. We're gonna call this one Dwarves and Dragons, because well, it plays a lot of dwarves and a lot of dragons. But hey, it's what we got, right? We're trying new things with Kaldheim. We just want to see if stuff works. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and this video. And then let's go take a look at this Dwarves and Dragons list. Okay, this thing's kind of different. This is probably one of the more experimental lists I've posted so far for the season. I have no clue if this is going to work at all, but it looks like it can on paper. If nothing else, it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's mono red. All right, so we're starting out just playing a couple of Frostbites. I know some people say, why aren't we playing a full set of Frostbites? I do have some logic behind this, so hold tight, please. Playing 3 Rimrock Knights, because it is a dwarf, and it pumps your other creatures. So it's going to help us get some damage through. And it is a 3/1 attacker, so it's actually solid on its own. We're playing Magda, Brazen Outlaw. And this gives all our other dwarves +1/+0. So, obviously we want to play it for that reason. But every time a dwarf becomes tapped, you produce a treasure. And we do have a couple of things that care about treasure in this list, and that's very important. The treasure that's being produced, I also want to point out, is one of the reasons we're only playing a couple of Frostbite, and we'll talk about the other spells here in a second. We're playing 2 Fearless Liberator. Now, the reality is this list probably should be like 4 Liberator and like 1 or 2 Rimrock Knights or something, but I'm experimenting to just see how this works out, because if it gets through, then you're actually making possibly a 3/1 creature, not just a 2/1 creature, kind of depending on how it all works out, but we're at least going to try a couple different ones for now and just see how it works. Then we are playing a full set of 7 dwarves, because honestly, this is the first deck I've made where I can actually justify having all the 7 dwarves in here. Usually it's kind of silly, but here we are, right? If we're playing something that pumps dwarves and we have treasure and this all fits together, why not just try to go for a pile of 7 dwarves? So we're going to see if this works. Playing 3 Royal Eruptions, sorry. And this is one of the reasons I'm only playing a couple copies of Frostbite, because we can actually use the treasure to possibly pay for the kicker on Royal Eruption. And that could just be 5 to the face, 5 to a Planeswalker, whatever we need it to be. Now, how often is that going to come up? I don't know. That's one of those things that as we're playing, I may end up deciding, you know what? What if I just cut a Royal Eruption and play a 3rd Frostbite? Like, that's a thing that actually could happen with this list, and it wouldn't be that unreal. But for now, I think I'd rather have the Royal Eruption. It's easy, guaranteed damage, but it can also go with the face, which is a big thing we might need in this list. Then we're playing 3 Gadrick. Remember I told you about we had some things that cared about the treasure? This is one of them. Now, Gadrick generally sucks because he's a 3 mana 5/4, but he can't really attack unless you have 4 more artifacts. Well, since you have things that could generate treasure tokens count as artifacts, this gives you a chance to attack with it. But if nothing else, it's actually going to be a reasonable blocker at 5/4, and there's not a lot of things that are going to push past that on turn 2 or 3, so that helps your deck out quite a bit. Then once you get to attacking, it's just all upside. And in reality, there's a chance they may be trying to deal with your smaller creatures and sort of ignore Gadrick while it sits there. But every time a creature dies, Gadrick's going to make a treasure anyway, and he's eventually going to be attacking. So, I don't know. We'll see. Then we're playing a full set of Bonecrusher Giant because we just need another way to deal damage, another way to go at the opponent's face. It's a 4/3 creature. Nothing to complain about on the Bonecrusher Giant. Now, the other new card we're playing here is Goldspan Dragon. And I'll be honest, when you look across there, the opinions on Goldspan Dragon are so varied. Like, some people think this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. Other people think it's just a complete trap, right? I don't know. I think it's good. I don't think it's great. If I were giving it a 10-point scale number, it's probably like a 7. Yeah, but I do think it's the type of card that if you put it in the right situations, it could be phenomenal, right? Well, one of the other things on Magda is you can actually get rid of 5 treasures to go look for a dragon. Well, when you're producing treasure between Gadrick and Goldspan Dragon, you might be able to just go look for another dragon, possibly. Or, like, say you have a couple of dwarves that attack 2 or 3 turns. Then you go get the Goldspan Dragon and you attack. Well, that's another treasure, right? So this could possibly steamroll pretty well. Don't know yet, but it is a haste creature. It gets you some of your mana back by just making more treasure. And while it's out, treasure actually taps for double mana. So lots of cool stuff going on the way these all work together. And then we're playing a full set of Terror of the Peaks. And this is the other reason the treasure is actually going to be important in this deck, is because the treasure you're getting between Magna, Gadric, Goldspan Dragon, like they all can keep helping you pay for other things. Another cool thing is if you do have treasure sitting out there and you play Terror of the Peaks, you can sack a bunch of treasure to go get another Terror. So then the first Terror comes into play and deals 5 damage. Then now from then on, everything's dealing double damage. So there's another look at Magda here if you hadn't seen it yet. But yeah, it does put that card onto the battlefield. That's the other thing. It's not like you're sacking these treasures and then actually search the library for an artifact or a dragon. That's the other thing I got to be clear about, because the last card we're talking about is Embercleave. And we're only playing 2 copies, but part of that is we are attacking with just dragons who don't always need Embercleave, but we can also go search for it possibly. So lots of things going on with this list. Really, really dig it. There's just lots of fun stuff happening here. And it's a way to play with cards I don't think we're going to put in a lot of other lists. Like, I don't know if Magda's going to go in a lot of things. I don't know if Gadric's going to go into a lot of lists. But this is actually a pretty fun pile of cards to be able to put together and actually play with. Now, taking a look at the land, nothing surprising here. We're just going with 4 Faceless Havens. Because again, Faceless Haven is probably one of the best cards out of the set. It's going to show up in anything that's monocolor or easily splashing a second color. So you can just not have to worry about your color requirements and still get all your damage in. So we're going to be playing Faceless Haven alongside a whole pile of snow-covered mountains. And this also helps with Frostbite, but it's not a huge issue. But yeah, Faceless Haven, just a good all-around card. But otherwise, we're not doing anything fancy or special with the lands. I will say this, though, on the final downloadable list, I'm probably going to include a couple of the Castle Locked or Castle Embereth, because it only makes sense when we're playing an aggressive edge. Let's see if we can get some extra damage in. That's probably the only change I'll make here. So this is one of the decks we put together so far that I'm most interested in, because it plays completely different than the other decks of its type when we're talking about mono red aggro. It gets to play with cards we're not going to put on any other list. And even for focusing on new cards, it doesn't have a ton. I mean, we need, I think, 4 mythics and 7 rares, and then a couple of commons, a couple of uncommons. That's actually not too bad as far as trying to like acquire stuff heavy on new cards for a list. I actually really like that. I like the uniqueness of it, and it should be a lot of fun. I mean, and it has early game and late game. A quality late game that doesn't necessarily even rely on you having all your early creatures still out. They're almost like a vehicle to get you to the later stages. So I actually like how that plays too. I'll be interested to see if this idea even works. But let me know down in the comments what you think. Do you like this type of crazy idea? Do you want to see something else? Are there deck ideas or concepts or cards or whatever you'd like to see? For the record, don't post full deck lists. I tend to ignore those because I don't want to take somebody else's idea and not remember to give proper credit. I also don't want to get people in the habits of just posting full deck lists in the comments, because I want the comments to still remain useful. So if you just have a card or idea or something or concept, cool, feel free to post it. I'll see it. And maybe here in the next couple days, we'll get a deck list put up with it. But yeah, let me know what you think. Remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel. That's going to help me out and continuing to help me out. Thank you so much. But for now, that's all I've got for you. We'll see you next time.